Isn't Bashful before?
I'm just checking the list. Drag 74. Bashville 74. So he was comfortable with the big stage of Mandrag. It might have been that Paxton had seen it, or he talked his way, just like you. You're going and talking to people.
Yeah.
But I know he'd wanted me to do the costumes, but part of the deal was that she was do it, so I would go and just do the set.
Right.
And that was fine, because it gave me a whole, as he was saying, it's so good that she has finding proper people to allow this. And his idea was so much was going to be added to that. Yeah, I think it was a festival theatre, and it was in Ontario, and he hadn't done any.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a big step for him. I always, when people would ask why I wasn't directing, I just say I'm quite happy to be behind the director's back, if I like the director. And Stephen never made me feel that I needed to aggressively hold the whole vision, because I felt like he was my other, like we were two arms of the same body, and each one of us was trying to protect each other's back. I'm trying to think if anything happened that disappointed me in the way we worked, or that I suddenly felt. I don't think so.
Like, I wondered, was there ever a piece that you worked on, and I think I know the answer to this question, but was there ever a piece you worked on where he didn't come with a visual kind of concept or conceit already in place for you to respond to?
Well, to be honest, I think I took measure far more into the hippie Vogue art world than he expected. So I don't think he knew that world, and I was fascinated with it.
Yeah.
I think his idea was certainly to have the men for Pericles, but I think it was my idea that each country they'd go through would be a different time period, a different color, and we'd use garbagey things and cheap things to do it. I wouldn't have gone ahead if he hadn't agreed, obviously, but I don't think he didn't come with that, because he didn't have that. He might have said, let's make each one a different time period. Might have said that. I don't remember this part.
Yeah.
This is the good part. We don't remember who did what. But I suspect the color coding and using unusual materials was the sculptor and artist in me, not in him. He totally was with me. I mean, you saw the drawings. I said, okay, there's Rome, and there's Victorian England, and there's, and he'd go, great, and off we'd go. I'm pretty sure it was my idea that there was dummies to because I would talk about what, who wrote Tales from Hoffman?
Offenbach.
Yes, what Offenbach did when he didn't have enough people, he'd have these cardboard creatures
right.
where someone stuck their head through and did. So some of these funny little stage. I mean, my mother was in vaudeville. I liked vaudeville. I had all the old records. We looked at all the old books. So I had a lot of cheesy vaudeville ideas and turns and games that Stephen just went, oh, that's great. And off we go, and he adapted into his world just the way. We were both good adapters. Strong ideas, but flexible, as you said. And, but I've hardly met any directors that are visually are trained enough to be equals. And, which is why I'm still concerned about this, and why I'm teaching a course about what could be good director designer training. I don't think anyone will ever listen to me, but I think it's because I saw how well it could work between us, and because I didn't know anything else. I was thinking Stephen Caney, when I did his Three Cuckolds at the theatre across the street in Winnipeg. I don't know if you know who I mean by Stephen Caney.
No.
A Jewish kid in Winnipeg who went down to the Guthrie Theatre and was one of their top directors in Minneapolis for years and years and years. He often, when I was at Stratford, I got a phone call from him saying, can you come here and do Line in Winter or something for me. And I said, no, I can't because I'm just going to do a film right after. And that was the only time we intersected again. Or I think, because I'd always wanted to go to the Guthrie. It was a beautiful theater. It was certainly as good as Stratford.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was the first person I'd ever done a theater piece for when I was still a student. Because I did these neat drawings. They're somewhere in there. They're really nice drawings. Showing my love of black and white. But Stephen, I wonder how many Jewish directors I have now that I think of it. I had so many. My best friends seemed to always be Jewish. I kept telling my parents, I said, it's so neat. Finally, I can talk to people who know what I'm talking about and don't think I'm silly because I'm interested in these things. Because I grew up in a totally white bread area. And suddenly I had people my tribe. Stephen was a tribe, so was Danny. We just had fun.
What role does like self-confidence play in the ability to have that collaboration not threaten the other person?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because it sounds like one of the things that was so special about that relationship is the fact that you could be open and free with each other and say, and have confidence in your own art practice to not be threatened when it was challenged or...
And him with his he had a strong writing practice.
Mm-hmm.
I believe his mother told me that I became good friends with his mother and father, and my parents became good friends with his mother and father because they would fly down to every show, and the four parents were so proud of their two kids, right?
Yeah.
It was funny, the Cats and Kerr kids. And, Remind me of the question. I just got off onto the parents. Sorry.
Yeah. Like because it feels like, I'm trying to frame it in a sense of like, well, how is it possible through training or through, just hard work and dedication to build relationships or build artists, designers, and directors who can achieve this kind of apotheosis, synergy. And what are those strategies to try to make that happen? And it feels like self-confidence in your own ability to...
Okay, I know where I was going with it.
Yeah.
I was going with, we both came with a certain amount of trained background in our own areas, which we had a lot of confidence in.
Yeah. His
mother said he was writing novels from the age of 12 on. Sometimes they were fantastical fairy tales. Just sort of like Chaucer's Squire's Tale and stuff. It was just all this, and all detailed. And she said, and then he would write plays, and then he would write this. And not unusual, his two parents were both writers. So he would see them sitting down and writing and being published. So I think he developed, this is where the articulateness came, because both his parents were very highly articulate and highly intelligent. And this is why I think poor Jeremy might have felt like he wasn't, he was not a slouch, but I don't think he was at the level of these three. I can just imagine a dinner table, right?
Yeah.
Because the parents would be talking about psychology and about this and about psychosis and about this and Stephen would be 12, with big eyes and huge glasses, listening and probably jumping in. So he came with a huge amount of confidence about the internal process of the workings of his mind. Yeah, that feels really right. And I came with a huge amount of confidence about myself by then I was a graduate sculptor. I'd been accepted at all these universities, at Yale, at other places. I didn't go there. I went to Waterloo. But the very fact that I was accepted made me realize I was good. To some people, anyway. I was in a certain level. And the work I'd done at Expo that won all those awards over Ulm, over Pratt, over the Bauhaus, over... made me realize, it's funny, my ego did not get involved at this point to the degree it probably could have, should have. It was just like, oh yeah, that's really fun. Oh, this is really good. Oh, I really like doing this. Yeah, I deserve to be here, sure. Let's go work in Europe. Yeah.